Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a great week. In this video, we're going to be talking about our gun wing fullbacks. So in your team, we need to have 3 at a minimum, and I'd say having a 4th, whether he's a dual position, it might be someone who's in your centres as a keeper, or you're going to have them on the bench as one of your 4. So 3 to 4 keepers. Let's see who we need to be talking about. So the most obvious one, Teddy. Obviously an absolute gun. He's had, since the restart, he's obviously only played 4 games, but only 1 average score, and he almost died in that game. So he's definitely a keeper. I'd say everyone is going to need to have him as your one of your back 3 by the end of the season. He's probably going to be the only must-have, in my opinion, at the back there. Moving on, we got Nofaluma. So one of a couple of actual wingers we're going to talk about is playing amazingly. Scoring a lot of tries. He's just so elusive. He's only got a couple of bad scores, and they're the only games he doesn't score. So, except for the one against the Cowboys, where he got 50 there. So, and when he does have a bad score, his bad score is 30, and that's involving a bunch of missed tackles last game. So, if he's someone you like to watch play, then I'd say you can bring him in. But he's at his max price. He's starting to lose a bit now with that low score. So my only thoughts with him, being a winger, there's a bunch of fullbacks on this list, and they're going to be more consistent just because the wingers usually need a bunch of tries to score well. But with an average of 52.5, that's definitely a keeper. So if you want him, get him. Gutho. A lot of people are bringing in Gutho this week. Obviously off the back of his 60 and his 100. So with Moses out of the team, he's taking a bit more of a step up. But let's look at the games where he hasn't been there. So first 2 games, obviously we can count them out a little bit in terms of it's very different how the game's structured in those first 2 games. So he did score low and didn't do too much then, and no one would have been thinking about bringing him in. First game back, he played really well against the Broncos, who are obviously a team not going very well. And then round 4, 5, and 6, so 36, 48, and 45. So consistent, but not something that a lot of people would say, yes, he's a keeper. So a lot of people are basing his keeper status just off the last 2 weeks. So I'd be careful with that. Obviously, he's going to make a little bit of money, but he's already gained 192k in that time. So, and what I'll just say is over his career, hasn't been a keeper, so I'd be wary of that. But again, if you'd like him, bring him in. He is kicking goals with Moses out, which he won't do when he comes back. So just something to think about as well. And just think about the makeup of your team as to, are you going to make a trade to bring him in? Do you already have a few keepers? Is it worth using your 3rd or 4th keeper spot on Gutho when you could wait a little bit and get Teddy? Something to think about. Tommy Trobb. I'm going to leave Tommy Trobb out of this list just mainly for the fact that he's injured, but he's always been that guy that's sort of been that 3rd or 4th keeper, but he's not someone that averages over 50. And a lot of time you bring him in, he gets a score, an average score or 2, and then he gets injured, so we're going to leave him out. Brett Morris as the winger is actually scoring amazingly well, especially since round 4. Scored a try at least in every game and is scoring really well. And I can only see it increase, staying the same for him. He's scoring against good teams. It doesn't matter who he plays against. He's scoring. He's got Cowboys this week. He should go really well. He's got Warriors and Titans coming up too. So they got a nice schedule. So he's an interesting one at 639k. He's going to make a little bit more money, and he should score well over this next period. So you could bring him in for that reason, but again, I'd be wary with the wingers on this list, just for the fact that if Brett Morris doesn't score in a game, he's gonna go low. And is he going to score every game? Unlikely. The average usually always comes back to the mean. So that's what to think about with him. And same with Katoa, just scoring a lot of tries. So I wouldn't talk too much about him. He's got 4 big scores, including round 1, and they've got 2 or more tries. So I wouldn't be talking about him. In a team that's not going as well as the Roosters, I wouldn't be bothering with him. Matty Duffy's done really well. But again, if you're going to have games where you score 2 tries and get 47 or 48 as a fullback, if you're going to be getting 2 tries, you'd want to be getting 70. That's my thoughts anyway. The game of his life was against the Sharks in round 5 and he got 77. So, Teddy plays the game of his life, he gets 110. So, something to think about there. Jerome Hughes, not going to talk about. Not many other guys in this list I wanted to talk about. Only Dewey, because a lot of people have Dewey. My thoughts on if you have him, that he is a keeper. I think you've got to keep him. He's got 1 bad score, and they actually smashed the Cowboys that game, so he didn't get involved. But he's averaging, since he started in fullback, he's way up over 40. So you look at his 5-game average is 45, which is a keeper, and he's a 5.35. So you got to keep him in your side, and he covers the half position as well. So nothing else to talk about with these guys, and we'll just go back to my team and the guys that I have. And when we look down, so our centre and wing fullbacks, let's start with Latrell. We've spoken about him a bit already, but when he plays properly, he scores well. Round 4, 5, 6, 63, 74, 45, that is what we expect from him. And the last 2 games he's played terrible. So he's definitely a wait and see. If he keeps playing terrible, then you're going to have to get rid of him and upgrade him to one of the guys we've been speaking about. But he has the ability to go back to that. And as a fullback, there's more chance that he's going to score well compared to others, just if he actually gets involved. But that's a big if. And obviously he's a dual position centre wing fullback, so that always helps as well. All right, Crichton's a no, Bradman best. So obviously since he came into the game, when he scores tries, he does well. And then his average game is a 28 or 30. So for a centre, that's actually promising. It's actually really promising there. So you can expect that he'll get back to some try scoring. I don't know why. I don't understand why people are getting rid of him just because he's had 2 lower scoring games. But he did nothing the last 2 games. He got 28 and 30. So, he's got 0 tackle breaks the last 2 games, for example. So if that's his baseline at 30, then there's nothing wrong with that. So the only thing I forgot to talk about was I skipped over Lomax. Definitely a keeper. Obviously scoring tries the last few weeks, but if he's not scoring those tries, he's getting close to 40 anyway. So lowest score of the year, 39. Definitely a keeper in the back if you have him. Very sad that I don't have him. Anyway, moving on. And what do we got left? We got Ponga. We've spoken about Ponga. He was quiet last week. I think the Cowboys game at 42 is his baseline. He's had his 2 lowest scores of the year last 2 weeks, and went off early in the weekend. Not that would have done much, but I expect him to bounce back. He's one of the best players in the game, so I wouldn't stress about him. He's definitely, I'd say he's the number 2 keeper in the wing fullback spot, and then Pappenhausen. We've spoken about him in length as well, but lowest score is 31, so that's his baseline. Again, like we're talking about with Best, obviously centre position is not as good as the wing fullback position, but if your baseline's 31, he just needs to get a few more attacking stats. Tries, try assists need to come about a little bit more like that Warriors game, and a few more tackle breaks. And if he doesn't over the next few weeks, then maybe you can move him on. But an average for the season at 43 is very close to a keeper at wing fullback. You want about 45 at fullback and 40 at centre to be gun keepers for the year. But again, with a lot of people, not many trades left for the year, then I wouldn't be thinking too much about getting rid of him. Again, if upgrading Pappy and downgrading someone else gets you like a Teddy, then you can probably pull the trigger. But other than Teddy, I think it's almost a little bit sideways. Slight improvement, but not worth one trade. So anyway, guys, that's the wing fullback position. Let me know what you think. In terms of rankings, as I said, Teddy, then Ponga, Lomax would be pretty close to my 3rd best choice, but just based on price. But you've got guys like Nofaluma, who I'd say is definitely the 3rd best choice there. Yeah. My call is Nofaluma over Gutho. So Nofaluma 3, Gutho 4. With Lomax in there as well. So, yeah, my calls, guys. Wing fullbacks. Good luck with your trades this week, and we'll see you in the next video.